Well, hey there, good cookin'. It's Jenny Tolman, and welcome back to my kitchen. Now, it's been a little moment since we did our last quarantine kitchen video, and that is because 2020, and the quarantine has been a little not so quarantine anymore, thankfully. So we are taking the quarantine kitchen. You've been so good to us, thank you. But we are going to send that off, and we are going to switch to Jenny's Hey Good Cookin' Kitchen. So welcome to our very first episode. I'm so excited. Now there's been a lot going on since I last saw you in the kitchen. One of the main things being this. So as many of you know, my now fiance, Dave, is our wonderful cameraman. He's Swiss Army Dave, as we like to call him. One of his favorite Thanksgiving dishes is green bean casserole, which I had never even had my entire life. Being gluten-free and dairy-free, I had to come up with my own version. We are going to be making a clean bean casserole today, so let's get started. You can get gluten-free versions of cream of mushroom soup and of the fried onion straws, but today, since we are making an especially clean version, we are going to be making our own cream of mushroom soup that is gluten, dairy, egg, soy, and sugar-free, as well as our own onion straws, which are also gluten, dairy, egg, soy, and sugar-free. So it is a very clean bean casserole. We're gonna get started by preheating our ovens to 425. Boil 1.5 pounds of fresh green beans. Cut up 2 large onions into thin strips. Transfer them to a large bowl and soak them for just a couple minutes with a cup of almond milk, unsweetened. This is to help that flour coating stick to the onions. Normally eggs is what you would use, but we egg-free today. Now to make our coating for our onion straws, we're going to take 1/4 cup of gluten-free flour, a teaspoon of sea salt, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a dash of paprika, a dash of black pepper, and about 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder. Mix that all together to form our batter blend. All right, and now we're gonna take our onions and just add them to this flour blend. Now we don't wanna pour the almond milk in. It's fine if there's a little bit coming out with the onions, but you don't want all of that. So I've put these in a bowl with a top so I can just shake and bake, baby. Here we go. To really get these onions crispy and crunchy, directly place them onto a very generously oiled pan. So when this oil gets hot, that bottom of the pan is just gonna act like a deep fryer. And try and separate these onions as much as you can, because the more individually cooked they are, the crispier they will get. Drizzle a little oil on top. Pop these into the oven for 15 minutes at 425. And by now your beans are probably perfectly tender. You can check them with a fork. Oh yeah, beautiful. So we are just gonna turn these off for now and set them aside until we are ready to assemble our full clean bean casserole. So now it's time to start our cream of mushroom soup. We're just gonna roughly chop 1.5 cups of mushrooms, 1/2 of an onion, and we're gonna really finely dice this. 1 to 2 teaspoons of olive oil to a pan, heat that up. Sizzle time. Oh, yeah. Two cloves of garlic to our garlic chopper. I don't like to add the garlic too early because it can get overly browned, and the worst taste in the world is burnt garlic. Add our little teaspoon of apple cider vinegar to give it a little zest. 2 tablespoons of flour. Mix that around to make sure that everything gets coated, basically making a roux. Slowly add the almond milk to start creating that thick, creamy mixture that will be the base of our soup. Turn it up so that it starts to boil a little bit. All right, so we really have this creamy consistency. We are now going to add 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt and just a dash of black pepper. It's time to check on our onion straws. Give them a little flip. getting crispy, but we've still got 15 more minutes to go. All right, time to check on our crispy onions. Oh yeah. Take half of these onions and mix them into our casserole base. And we're gonna reserve the other half to sprinkle on top for that crunchy goodness on top. To our cream of mushroom soup mixture, we're gonna add, I'm just gonna turn this heat on low again, another half a cup of unsweetened almond milk, a teaspoon of coconut aminos. Add the main ingredient, our 1.5 pounds of freshly cooked green beans. A little taste test here. It's really good. A little bit more salt. Transfer this over to our baking dish and assemble it all together. Oh my gosh, this looks so good. It smells so good. And I promise, making your own cream of mushroom soup and your own onion straws will show your guests how much you love them, how much you're thankful for them on this Thanksgiving, and it always tastes better and it's always cleaner, hence clean bean casserole. Our very last step before we put this in the oven is to take the rest of these crispy onions, look at how crispy they are, and assemble that, make it as pretty or as messy as you want it. This looks pretty amazing to me. Now all we've got to do is get a little extra crisp on those onions and it's gonna be ready in no time. Oh my goodness. We have our beautiful creamy green bean mixture along with our crispy onions on top. So this entire dish is gluten, dairy, egg, soy, and sugar-free. Your whole family will love it. They will never be able to tell that it's not the usual suspects. They might actually think that it tastes even better and ask you what you did different. I hope that y'all all have an incredibly happy Thanksgiving. Be sure to chime in on my socials every Sunday with Jenny's Joy Jar and tell me what you're grateful for. Even though it's been 2020, we all have so much to be thankful for. So I hope that you have an amazing time with your family. And thanks for tuning in to the Hey Good Cookin' Kitchen.